All right, I'm here with Republican mayoral candidate for the city of Massillon, Jamie Slutz, and glad to have you come over to Canton this morning.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about yourself for folks who may know you as a city councilman, but would like to know a little bit more about you.
Well, my name is Jamie Slutz. I'm born and raised in Massillon, a lifelong Massillonian. Uh, my whole life, I've dedicated my life to the people of Massillon. Even at a young age, I was a paper boy, 6 years old. Uh, once I got into junior high, I started playing sports through the school, and I wasn't able to do that. But I've dedicated my life to the people. After high school, or let's back up. I played football for Massillon. I'm happy to say I threw a touchdown pass to beat the Bulldogs back in '88, but that's not my story. That's just a part of it. I've dedicated my life to the people of Massillon. I was a youth football coach for about 16 years. I am a veteran of the Massillon Police Department. I retired 4 years ago. So I was the boots on the ground in town. I was in people's homes. I saw the struggles that people had. And I want to change that and focus on our neighborhoods, our safety forces, and bringing in better jobs for the community, for the residents of Massillon.
So, what made you want to become mayor? What kinds of
Well,
things made you think about that?
in my early 20s, maybe I was 20, 21 years old, 22. I was on a committee for the mayor at the time, Chickenelli, and we were looking at land along the Tuscarawas River to develop kind of like the flats I would guess in Cleveland. But at that time, I thought this would be a great job. I mean, what better way to help your community than do great things like that? And ever since then, it was in the back of my mind. I'm going to run for mayor one day. Contrary to what people believe, this wasn't something that I just thought up a year ago, or somebody put a bug in my ear a year ago. This is something that has been on the back burner for me my most of my adult life. Being a policeman, you're not able to run for political office like that. So I had to wait till I retired to be able to throw my name in the hat. I talked to some friends and they knew my plan and they said, well, maybe you should get on city council to learn the ins and outs of how politics work or how things work within the city. So that's what I did. Unfortunately, Nancy Halter, a longtime city councilwoman, uh, had some illness and had to resign. And I reached out to my councilman, Mark Lombardi, and I said, how do I put my name in the hat to be on city council? And he said, are you serious? I go, absolutely, 100% serious. I want to give back to my community. I love the people of Massillon. I've always been a part of the people of Massillon, and I want to continue to give back, and I want to do what's best for our town.
So, there you go to city council. What kind of things did you learn once you sat down in that chair with the other council members?
Well, I tell you what, it's a lot. And, you think, well, I'm going to run for mayor. I'm just going to put my name on the ballot, and that's that. It's way more than that. I mean, Ed Lewis does a great job. He's our finance chair, and he's kind of taken me under his wing and shown me the ins and outs of things. Even people, the Democratic members on council, Ted Hernkane, he showed me the ropes, and I appreciate everybody that's taken their time to show me things and help me out along the way. And talking about these Republicans, Democrats, you know, I'm not a politician. I'm just a lifelong Macedonian that cares about Massillon. And me personally, we need to set those letters aside at some point and say we need to do and focus on what's best for Massillon, what's best for the people, and not just this neighborhood or that neighborhood, but focus on what's best for everybody. And that's what I'd like to do.
So, what would you see as your first challenge or your biggest challenge if you are elected
Well,
mayor?
the first thing I'd like to do, and being a police officer, I dealt with the animal control officer quite a bit. Now, when officers got laid off in 2012, she was a casualty of that. And the police department nor the animal control officer has ever really rebounded from that. So the first thing I'd like to do is bring back an animal control officer, a full-time dedicated animal control officer. Uh, that's important to our community. That's what I hear most from my constituents about animal control. So that would be the first thing I would like to do. Some of my other focuses, being a veteran of the police department, I feel it's important that we have a detective bureau, which we do not have. We don't have a drug unit. We don't have a traffic division. And what I mean by a traffic division, officers dedicated to going out and enforcing our traffic laws. Another complaint that I get all the time is speeders. Now, the police can't be everywhere, and I have to say that the police do a great job. The men and women of the Massillon Police Department do a tremendous job, and I give them all the credit in the world. Doing that job myself, it's a tough job and it's a thankless job. Especially in today's age. People don't want to be police officers like they did when I got hired back in 1997. I think there were maybe 400 people that took the civil service test. 400 people.
Yeah.
Now we're lucky to get, I think we just gave a test last week, and I think the chief just told us 16 people showed up. So that's a far cry from, 19 in the 1990s when people wanted to be a police officer and give back to their community. So those are some of the things I want to focus on. Drugs aren't going away. People are dying every day on overdosing on heroin. And I feel like it's important that we have somebody dedicated to handle those jobs and be the voice for those people that do pass away, to investigate those crimes, to hold somebody accountable for that.
When you were an officer, how many officers were there? What was the number?
Well, when I was hired in 1997, for a short time, we had 60 officers.
Okay.
When I decided I was running for mayor, our police department was down 39%. Now that 39%, that's a huge hit on our safety forces. And since then we've hired some officers, but in the last 2 years we've had more than 20 officers quit or retire. Our police department's a revolving door. When I say that, I mean people get hired, they get the experience, and then they go to neighboring agencies that pay more money, have better benefits packages, maybe have more time off, and we need to change that. We lost experienced officers with 15, 20 years experience, and when you're a police officer and you go to some of the worst crimes that you could imagine, that experience takes over, and it helps the officers determine what should happen next or how they handle this. When you have a young officer, and I give them all the credit in the world, but when you have a young officer that hasn't seen some of the scenes or some of the things that some of the experienced officers have seen, that makes a big difference. And and I'd like to say that these officers, they left because they were underpaid, because of the direction they felt things were going. Now our chief of police does a great job. Chief St. Noy, he's been in there for a little over a year now, and he's doing a great job. And he has things going in the right direction, but we the people have to get behind our police department. The administration has to get behind the department, not just the police department, but the fire department. Our city's growing to the west. We have a fire department that's on 17th Street, and their response time to the far west side, which is a booming neighborhood, is 7 to 10 minutes. Now, when that squad's out on another call, the next closest fire station is downtown, which is 10 minutes plus for a response time. And when you're having a heart attack or a stroke or in dire need of emergency services, every minute counts. So I think we need to look at building a new fire station on the west side. We have a fire truck. Our tanker truck is a 1990. Now, I'm not a fireman, but I would think that technology has come a long way in the last 30 years. And I would guess that our tanker truck is probably antiquated to what we want to do for today. And those are some of the other issues. I'm not just focused on police. I'm focused on our fire. I'm focused on our wastewater treatment plant. I'm focused on our streets, our neighborhoods. I feel like, and this is no attack on this administration. I have nothing against this administration, but our focus, this administration's focus, is on downtown projects, vanity projects. And does it look nice? Sure, I'd say it looks nice, but it's a lot of money that could be put into our neighborhoods. Last year in 2022, in City Council, we got a list of 49 streets that were to be paved. 5 streets were paved in 2022. We just passed a 0.2% increase in our taxes for our roads to be paved, and we only pave 5 roads. Those are questions that I think should be answered, and the people of Massillon, the residents, the taxpayers deserve answers to those.
I've seen, there have been people who've said there are a lot of good things happening in Massillon. That the happy side of it. What are some of the
Yeah.
good things that you see that are happening
I
right
mean,
now?
I mean, there are, we had some buildings come down this past year in downtown, but you know, Kathy is, she redid Duncan Plaza, and it looks nice. You know, Me personally, I would have put that money elsewhere. It was it was nice the way it was. Our streetscape. She put the M's in the street, and hey, I'm a Tiger through and through. You know, but I feel like our neighborhoods are I don't want to say they're suffering because we're not focusing on what is important to our neighborhoods and our streets and it's like I said, it's no knock on this administration now, but I think we need to focus on what's important to our residents.
So give me, as we conclude, give the voters out there in Massillon, say, when you walk in there or when you're casting your ballot from home, why should they vote for you?
They should vote for me because I am you. I am not doing this for a pat on the back. I'm not doing this to be in the spotlight. I'm doing this because I care about the people of Massillon, the residents that can't get out of their house or who have bad streets. I'm doing this for them. And regardless who you vote for, I feel like we as citizens need to get out and vote, regardless who you vote for. I prefer you vote for me, but get out and vote. That's our civic duty, to vote. And if you want change, if you're happy with the way things are, then stick to that. If you're not happy with not having a drug unit, or not happy with the streets, or you have potholes, or you're not happy with drug dealers living next door, then it's time for change. And I'm the change. So get out there and vote. Vote for Jamie Slutz November 7th. And if you don't choose to vote for Jamie Slutz on November 7th, get out there and vote and do your duty and be civic and I appreciate if it would be for me though. So
All right. Very good. Well, thank you for coming
yeah,
over.
thank you.